Within the underground sewerways of the Soul Society, Hanataro would get to work on healing. Wait, who was he healing? Hanataro thought. He could have sworn that they were carrying Ichigo, but now it looked like they were carrying Ezekiel. For Ganju, he just knew that when it came to Ichigo and his personalities, it was like Russian roulette. You never knew who was going to pop up. But the blood-stained, tattered, and torn Mr. Knight that lied on the ground as Hanataro got to work on healing him would begin to speak. Well, it's good to see you're back in the world of the living, Ganju said. And congratulations, you managed to beat a lieutenant. Yeah. Don't feel like congratulations is in order. What are you talking about? Ganju said. It was incredible. I mean, the way that you were able to take him down and at point blank range. It was the only chance I had to win. I had to lure him into letting his guard down against me to fire off a shot. But that power, it takes a lot out of me. Hey, do me a favor. What is it? Ganju would ask, along with Hanataro. I'm gonna be out of commission for a while. So, Ichigo's gonna have one less person watching his back. Huh? I need to heal. That means I won't be switching back in with any of the others. Technically, you're about to be down a man. Down a man? What do you think? You think that every time we switch out, it's still the same person? No. We haven't just been a 3-man team. It's been 3 plus 3. We've actually been a 6-man team, but now we're about to be 5. I need time to recover my Quincy power. This body needs time to recover its Quincy power. Because of that, I'm not going to be able to switch in for a while. So tell Ichigo I did my best. But now it's going to be left up to those 3. With that, Ezekiel would pass out, and Ichigo would now return. It didn't take long for Ichigo to awaken, although his body would need time to heal from the wounds that he had received from Renji, who also wasn't doing too well himself. As Renji was being looked after by fellow lieutenants, earlier on in that night, his situation only went from bad to worse, as Byakuya would have him incarcerated, believing that if he were foolish enough to lose to the Ryoka, especially here in the Soul Society, then he deserved to face the consequences. In the meantime, the night before, Captain Yamamoto had put into word that special permissions were being given due to the extenuating circumstances. All captains and lieutenants would be allowed to carry their zanpakuto, as now they were acting in a state of wartime. Of course, some were a little concerned by this. Sure, the Ryoka were proving to be more of a pest than originally thought, but now the situation could no longer be ignored, especially after the loss of Renji Ibarai. The Ryoka were serious. Nanao would comment on this to her captain, Shunsui. I still don't see the need to go this far, Nanao said as she straightened her glasses. They're just a few Ryoka. They act as though we don't have the full might to crush them. It's not about that, Nanao, Shunsui said, as he poured himself another glass of sake. It's about keeping up appearances. You know how old-timers get when they have their reputation challenged. It isn't going to bode well for the Soul Society if a few Ryoka are able to have us up and about like this. Quite frankly, I can't say that he's wrong. From the very beginning, we've been acting on the defensive, just mulling about, trying to let the situation pass itself over. But after what happened to Lieutenant Renji Abarai, it seems as though the situation can't be helped. Now Captain Yamamoto wants to go into all-out war to crush the enemy. This has to be done to set a message. We can't allow for others to start getting the conclusion that the Soul Society is just some easy shot that can be taken whenever you feel like. If you dare to step into the Soul Society, you stake your life, your being, your very existence on the line. That has to be conveyed in full force. But what do you think the Ryoka are after? Who knows? But I have a sneaking suspicion. It can't be a coincidence that all of this is happening just shortly after Rukia Kuchiki's incarceration. You think she plays a role in all of this? It can't be ruled out. But things have been on high alert for a while now. I feel as though all of the dominoes are going to be falling into place soon. And for some unforsaken reason, I have a feeling like we're all being had. But by what, I'm not entirely sure. It's so unlike you, Captain. You're never one to have your eye on the ball when it comes to these kind of things. No. Why would you say that? Because you're a lecherous leech, and you spend more time drinking and oogling at women. If you took this more serious approach half the time, I might have 10% more respect for you. Oh, no, Shunsui said with a smile. You're always so mean to me. Can't you ever spare me some kind of mercy? Oh! Nanao would bop him on the head with her book. If you acted more like a captain, then maybe I could. Whatever happened to my sweet little Nanao? The next day, if the Soul Society hadn't already been stretched thin, things would only get even worse when the body of Captain Eisen would be discovered pinned to the wall. His Lieutenant Momo would be put into a series of distress, especially when the one whom she suspected, Captain Gin Ichimaru, was there. His sinister smile etched across his face, as if he were toying with them all. As she responded to attack, his lieutenant, Izuru, would respond, as the two lieutenants drew their zanpakuto and engaged in battle. It was only thanks to Captain Toshiro Hitsugaya that they were able to avoid any more serious damage and having both lieutenants incarcerated into the prison. The situation was only getting from bad to worse. Toshiro had suspected Gin's betrayal for a while now, although he couldn't prove it. Still, Gin made no attempts of trying to dissuade the court of public opinion. In a weird sense, it was almost as if he were openly mocking all of the captains with betrayal. Except there was no evidence to put behind those theories, so technically there was nothing that they could do. And then, of course, there was the matter of the Ryoka, the matter of having wartime power put into effect. All of this didn't add up. And if that wasn't worse, the fact that there was still the execution of Rukia Kuchiki, which under normal circumstances would have been within the next 25 days, was now already moved up to 14. And the fact that the Sogyo-ku was going to be used as their execution weapon. The more that things began to happen, the more that Toshiro began to wonder who exactly was pulling the strings in all of this. For some reason, it felt as though the Soul Society, the most famed and prestige fighting force in all of the universe, was now being reduced to someone's plaything. From the death of Aizen, Rukia's execution, the sudden arrival of the Ryoka, now the defeat of the Renji Abarai. Toshiro knew, I might have to be on my own, he thought. If it comes ahead, if we don't act quickly, we could lose everything. For Kenpachi Zaraki, wartime rules. That is what got him excited. You seem really happy, Kenny, Yachiru would ask. Of course I am, 'cause now the stakes have been raised. We get to go all out. No need to hold back. You really think he's going to be strong? Of course he is. He defeated Renji. And he's got those other personalities in his head. Who knows what they're capable of? He sounds like he needs to be locked up in a loony bin with a straitjacket. Throw away the key. Yachiru. That's just the thing. It's the crazy ones that give the most fight. Because they're too stupid to die. So what does that make you? I'm a rare breed. Because I'm crazy strong and I'm crazy intelligent. You tell him, Kenny. Kenpachi would continue his search for Ichigo and the others. But in the meantime, everyone was still making their move towards Rukia. From Chad and Ginjo, along with Uryu and Orihime. Yoroichi continuing to watch from the shadows and monitor the situation. Before long, everyone had their sights set on the Repentance Tower. It's a good thing we were able to get information from those Soul Reapers, Uryu said to Orihime, as she would return Playful Cloud to her side. You really know how to work that thing. Yeah, I'm really getting good at it. You know, I never thought I would be much of a fighter. I really don't think I am. Although I do have to ask, why exactly are you healing them after you hurt them? Well, I don't want to try to harm them too badly. I mean, in the end, I feel like there's just a big misunderstanding, you know? I mean, fighting should always be a last resort, of course, but I know that Orihime would begin to trail off, reminiscing of her training with Maki Zenin. She remembered a few months ago. They were out in the courtyard sparring at Maki's school. It was there that Orihime, she showed some promise as she sparred with Maki, but when she saw an opening to attack, she faltered. It resulted in her getting landed on her ass with a pole staff pointed in her chest. Ow! I win again, Maki said. How about a break? Panda yelled out. Rice balls, salmon, tuna fish. Togi was holding a plate of sushi. As everyone stopped to eat, Maki would bring up how Orihime had performed. You said you wanted to train so that you could get better at protecting yourself. Well, I'd say you've got the defensive part down packed. You're pretty good at blocking and dodging. But? Orihime would ask. You really don't know how to attack, do you? Well, I mean, you're my friend. I wouldn't want to. But what about someone that's not your friend, Orihime? I mean, you don't know what type of situation you'll be in. If you hesitate even for a moment, it's not going to end well for you. I know. I mean, I know that the world isn't always filled with nice people. Everyone's always got their own thing, you know? What's really bothering you? Maki would ask Orihime. What stops you? Why do you hold back? Well, I don't know. I know that fighting sometimes is the only answer, but once you go too far, well, you can't really come back, can you? What do you mean? Panda would ask. I mean, once you take a life, it's over. I know it's crazy to think, but shouldn't all life be valued? So many times, people fight, but it's not because they want to. You know, like the person that steals bread for their family and the cop that has to chase them. It's not like the guy stealing wants to get into a fight with the cop, and it's not like the cop wants to jail the guy that's trying to provide for his family. That's true, Panda said. I have to say, situations like that makes it hard for me to understand you humans. I mean, seriously. You'll go into a conflict where neither of you want to fight to kill, yet for whatever reason you feel like that's the only option. Mustard seed, seaweed, shark fin, carrots. What does that mean? What he's trying to say is, life is complicated. Just because two people are on opposite sides, it doesn't mean that they're enemies. At least it shouldn't be. I agree, death isn't always the answer to things. But it is permanent. Once it's done, it can't be undone. So you have to really think before you strike, if it's something that's worth staking your life for. Maki would just look at the group as she observed them. They turned to her to get her thoughts on the situation, but Maki just shook her head. I don't think it's that complicated at all. Everyone tries to act like the world is gray, but more often than not, in the heat of the moment, it's black or white. It's kill or be killed. Maybe there is a way that people could understand each other. Perhaps there is a way where you could resolve things without killing. But in the heat of the moment, you have two options, Orihime. Kill or be killed. I don't know what exactly you're going to do with all of this training that I'm giving you. If you want to learn self-defense, that's fine. But sometimes defense isn't going to be enough. Sometimes it's not enough just to be passive. You have to go on the offensive. You have to actually make a stand. Someday you're going to come across some powerful people, maybe. And maybe they'll be the type of people that aren't just going to let you walk back home in one piece. So what will you do then? An enemy. An enemy that stands between your life and the end. Are you just going to try to reason with them? Or are you going to do what needs to be done? Find your resolve, Orihime. Find the path you want to choose, and then you walk it. You walk it without any hesitation. But what about regret? I never said you won't have regrets. We all have regrets. That's a part of life. But you want to know something? Maki said. The only people who get to regret anything are the ones that live. You don't get to have regrets when you're dead. As Orihime came back to the presence, she understood what Maki meant. She wasn't openly trying to kill the Soul Reapers. She wasn't looking to antagonize things any further than it already was. She wanted to help where she could, but she wasn't going to let it dissuade her from her mission. She looked back to Uryu with a smile. Finding resolve can be hard, you know? I don't want to kill anyone. I really don't. But at the same time, I don't want to have any regrets. If we can't help Ichigo, if I can't help Ichigo, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. So I want to do everything in my power to help him. That's why I can't have any regrets. I see, Uryu said. You have a lot more wisdom than they give you credit for, Orihime. I think you're going to turn out just fine. As everyone made their way closer to the Repentance Tower, each group would be stopped in their tracks. First, Chad and Ginjo. They made their way to a tall white building where sitting outside was a man with a rose-colored kimono and a straw hat. He looked up to his enemies with a smile. Well now, it seems the Ryoka have finally come across our path. Hold on, Chad, Ginjo said. This isn't any ordinary enemy. What do you mean? He's a captain. Does it make a difference? It makes a hell of a difference. Rose petals would fall around them, setting the mood and the ambiance. Except they continued to fall. A lot. Nanao, you can stop now. I think you've already set the mood. Nanao? I don't think she heard me. Hey, Nanao! Hold on. Wait, no, that's too many. Oh! She dumped the whole basket full of rose petals on his head before sauntering off. Sorry about that. Sometimes Nanao can get really spirited. So, what can I do for you? Rukia Kuchiki. I see. So that's what this is about. I take it that the two of you wouldn't be interested in retreating now. It's been a while, hasn't it? Huh? You don't remember me, do you? Ginjo would say. We've met before? I take it you know Captain Ukitake? Ukitake? You know of the captain of Squad 13? Of course. I'm pretty sure he's spoken of me at one point or another. Especially to you. What's your name? My name is Ginjo. Ginjo Kugo. Ginjo. So, the last substitute Soul Reaper now returns to the Soul Society. What? Is this your march for revenge? I just came for clarity. But above all else, we're here for Rukia Kuchiki. Don't suppose you could help us out with that. Quite the opposite, actually. I've been assigned to stop you, Ryoka, by any means necessary. Well, if we can't see eye to eye, maybe we can settle things with a drink. Yeah. Hold on, Ginjo, Chad said. We can't afford to waste time. Rukia's in trouble. Don't worry about that. Rukia shouldn't be executed for another 2 weeks. You've got all the time in the world. I suppose you both can't settle down with a drink? I'm too young to drink. But I'm not. Chad, I want you to watch my tail. Make sure that no one interferes. But I don't want you getting involved either. Huh? If we take them together, I'm sure we could... Chad. Ginjo looked at him seriously. You've grown quite remarkably in your power, and that's to be commended. But right now, I'm telling you, this fight is way out of your league. In the worst case scenario, you need to run. Huh? I can't just leave you behind like that. I'm not giving you a choice. What matters is saving Rukia. If the both of us get taken out, then what good would we be to her or to Ichigo and the others? I'm the adult of this group, and I'm making the adult decision. We're already putting so much on the line. I'm not about to make any more sacrifices. But for now, Ginjo said with a grin, I'll have that drink. Meanwhile, for Orihime and Uryu, they found themselves in an open streetway where the captain of Squad 12 was waiting for them. Well. Look what we have here, Nemu. The Ryoka finally graced me with their presence. And a Quincy and a Jujutsu sorcerer. Yes, fine specimen indeed. This is truly a good catch. So, what can you do? Orihime, get ready, Uryu said. I don't think he's like any other Soul Reaper we've come across. Uryu steadied himself as he readied his bow. Who are you? Ah, yes. Where are my manners? I am Mayuri Kurasuchi, captain of Squad 12. And this here is my lieutenant, Nemu. The name's Uryu Ishida. And I'm Orihime. Well now, I am pleased to make your acquaintance. For Ichigo, Hanataro, and Ganju, they found themselves entering into a large maze-like area. Ichigo was the first to feel the spiritual pressure that was surrounding them. It felt as though they were surrounded by the stench of death. Hanataro would immediately collapse and begin drooling on the ground as Ganju would recover him. Suddenly, Ichigo's attire would change once more. He was now sporting a pair of jeans, sneakers, a leather jacket with the sleeves rolled up, and on both of his fists were a pair of crescent moon-shaped knuckle dusters. Oh, what? You've gone through another change? Listen, take Hanataro and get out of here. What? What is it now? Diego turned, looking at them. He's here. Up above stood Kenpachi Zaraki. That's a nifty little trick there, Kenpachi said as he landed in front of them. So who are you? You're not Ichigo. You're right. I'm much worse. Is that so? We're gonna have a lot of fun. But I want Ichigo. No deal. Ichigo has a mission to fulfill. He doesn't need to get involved with you. But if you're looking for someone to play with, I'll keep you company, big guy. Though you won't like it very much. You're not lacking in confidence, kid. I'll give you that. So, if you're not Ichigo Kurosaki, then who are you? Diego raised his hand to his face as the hollow's mask would form. My name is Diego Rodriguez. The spiritual pressure of both Diego and Kenpachi would begin to clash, as Yachiru would jump off of Kenpachi's shoulders and watch from a distance. A smile etched across the face of the small lieutenant of Squad 11. Because, for the first time, she didn't know who was going to win. I can see why Kenny's really excited. Either one of them can die. This concludes Bleach Midnight. What if Ichigo was MoonKnight? Season 1, Part 7. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Bleach Midnight. What if Ichigo was MoonKnight? Season 1, Part 8. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.